Yeah, I hope that you hearing me. This is the future, all about cybersecurity. Talking about the hackers, I'm just trying to warn you. From the one and only legend, the cyber informer. Hey, yeah, this is the cyber reformer. This is the cyber reformer. Let's go.
It's time for the Cybersecurity Business Connect and Protect Central Coast Q&A video. I am Michael Trimblett, the Cyber Informer, and today we'll be answering the question, do I need a VPN? I've had this question multiple times as there's some confusion about what a virtual private network is and the protection it provides. In this video, I'll show you how a VPN works, the benefits of a VPN, and help you answer the question if you need a VPN or not. Let's go. I've been asked the question, do I need a VPN? Like other Q&As, the answer is not a black and white answer. Before we get to the answer, we need to know what a VPN is and what it does. Straight away, it's time for a propeller hat zone. VPNs are technical, and we will be breaking down a claim of a VPN service you may have seen. This one is rated 3 out of 5 propeller hats. What does a VPN do? It secures connections between one point and another by using encryption. If someone were to be sniffing packets between you and your destination, all they would see is noise. Packets are data blocks that form all communications on the internet. We won't go into detail here, it is a little too technical. I sat through one whole semester at university where all we talked about were data packets and how to analyze them. It's not a topic for discussion here. Commercial VPNs aim to secure you from local network threats for a monthly or annual fee. This means no packet sniffing is possible between you and the VPN provider. However, the VPN provider can see everything you do, so you must trust them to do the right thing. Many of the free and some paid commercial VPN services sell your information to advertising companies, so be careful who you trust. Let's have a look at some of the scenarios. This is how a typical internet connection works. Your computers connect either wirelessly or through a wired connection to your internet router. That communication flows to your internet service provider or ISP, for example Telstra, where it is routed out to the internet or the cloud where all websites live. This is how you access everything on the internet, like Facebook, Google, and your bank. Connecting to a VPN creates an encrypted connection called a VPN tunnel. This creates an impenetrable encrypted connection between your computer and the VPN provider. Note this tunnel extends from your computer or device, through your router, through the ISP, ending at the commercial VPN provider. The commercial VPN router or server decrypts your connection, and you emerge from the encrypted tunnel on the internet at the VPN provider's router or server. So you can see the tunnel extends through your ISP. If you don't want Telstra, for example, seeing what you are doing, use a commercial VPN to blind the ISP to your activity. You'll also blind anyone from seeing your data from your device through to the VPN provider. This includes anyone on the Wi-Fi connection who may be sniffing packets. Because you emerge on the public internet from the VPN provider, in this case we've picked out Symantec, no one in between you can see your communications. But guess what? Symantec can. Do you trust them enough to give them all of your web browsing history? That is essentially what they are able to gather. I don't know what their privacy statement says, but they have the ability to sell this information to third parties if they wish. Because you blind all devices between you and the commercial VPN provider, VPNs are a popular choice to defeat China's Great Firewall of China, and it can be used to defeat web filtering on your internal networks. I'll demonstrate how a VPN can defeat web filtering by going to the most well-known pirating site, the Pirate Bay. Whether you know it or not, the government blocks access to certain websites. If you don't know that, then you probably haven't tried going to the websites that are being blocked. What we'll demonstrate here is the blocking of certain websites, and then we'll show what happens when we try to access the same websites through a VPN. So we'll go to everyone's favourite pirating site, thepiratebay.org. And notice that we are now denied access to it. This is the government's web filtering. Now watch what happens when we connect to the VPN. We'll select USA and hit Connect. Now we're connected, we'll go to a new tab and we'll go to thepiratebay.org again. And we can see the website loads up. This is just one example of a VPN and how it can be used to defeat web filtering and censorship. I'm not advocating for piracy or going to this website. This is simply demonstrating how using a VPN can defeat web filtering. And now that you know how it's done, don't do it. Private VPNs secure your communications back to your office, which is free if you have the right router. There are a number of options when it comes to VPN configurations. PPTP, L2TP over IPsec, plain IPsec and SSL, among others. Each have their strengths and weaknesses. If you go back and watch the video, how to set up MOTP on a Draytech VPN, you will see we used an L2TP over IPsec VPN connection. If all of your services are behind a firewall, they are considered secure. Behind a firewall generally means they are on the inside of your business or home network with no connectivity from the outside world. A VPN will poke a hole in the firewall to allow you access to the network and the services behind it. We'll look at this in the next slide. Private VPNs are run by your business, so there is no intermediary that can see what you do. The trick is that we need to use a VPN technology that is considered secure. Private VPNs are the best way to secure your remote communications for things like remote desktop and security cameras. This means there is no door that hackers can knock on to try and find weaknesses. If you watch the video, How to Guess a Password Part 2, you'll see why having a service facing the internet is risky. This is a diagram of a private VPN. I've simplified it a little as we don't see a number of intermediary devices like your ISP represented in this diagram. The connection from your remote device, which could be a computer, tablet, or mobile phone, is made to the remote business firewall router. The router agrees on the protocol, authenticates the user, and allows access to the internal network. At that point, you can connect to your remote desktop computer or server and access your security cameras. You can see the VPN tunnel protects you from your PC, through the router, all the way through the internet, to your business firewall router. Once your encrypted data arrives at the router, the connection is decrypted by the router and allowed access to your internal server or cameras or whatever device you want to connect to. This is absolutely secure and is the standard for safely accessing your servers and other internal devices. In this scenario, the hacker is trying to access your server and cameras which are behind a firewall. Without a VPN, the hacker is stopped at your firewall router. There is no access to your cameras or servers. In this scenario, the hacker is trying to hack your exposed servers. All the hacker has to do is guess the right password and they will gain access to any internet exposed devices. Go back and watch the How to Guess a Password Part 2 video to see how easy this can be. Quite often, lazy equipment installers or unwitting users keep the default usernames and passwords. This is a perfect scenario for hackers. A VPN protects you from this scenario, even if your default passwords are used. We mentioned sniffing packets, so who would be able to sniff packets? The answer is anyone who can situate themselves between you and the network you're connecting to. This can include internal network sniffing, external network sniffing, and anything in between. There are techniques where if you're connected to a network, you can attack the network to allow you to see all data flowing on it without causing a disruption. An employee could be sniffing your packets and you wouldn't even know. Your internet service provider is a common location for network sniffing, especially in conjunction with law enforcement. If you're going to websites in incognito mode, your browser may not save the information, but you better believe your ISP knows where you've been. It's a common misconception that incognito mode makes everything anonymous. It doesn't. Putting yourself in between communications and watching the data is called a man-in-the-middle attack. The National Security Agency, or the NSA, are known to use sophisticated man-in-the-middle attacks. A man-in-the-middle attack is precisely that. A hacker can situate themselves either physically or logically between you and the destination. They could be sniffing packets or actively modifying websites to trick you into supplying your username and password or credit card details. If you've watched the Saturday morning cartoons on Foxtel or watched the evening shows on Sky News, you would be familiar with this advert. Let's watch and then we'll discuss it.
Ever get the feeling you're being watched? Maybe you are. Cybercriminals can see the private info you send over Wi-Fi, like your passwords and financial info. Norton Secure VPN uses bank-grade encryption to help block hackers. Secure your connections for $3.33 a month at norton.com/private.
That's a clever ad, but let's break it down. Maybe you're being watched. That's true, someone could be sniffing your internet connection. The most likely location is someone on the internal network. In other words, other Wi-Fi users, or the other more likely location, the Wi-Fi access point you're connected to. More about this shortly. The ad says cybercriminals can see the private info you send over Wi-Fi, like your passwords and financial info. In this day and age, this is FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. In the past, this could be true, but now with encryption on websites, this is highly unlikely. Have you ever seen the padlock on the address bar at the top of your browser? This means you are secure. In the next section of the video, I will demonstrate what I mean. Norton uses bank-grade encryption to help block hackers. This is a perfect scenario for hackers. A VPN protects you from this scenario. This is true. Bank or military grade encryption are buzzwords to indicate strong encryption, which is now available everywhere. Let's go back to the statement cyber criminals can see private info you send over Wi-Fi like your passwords and financial info. In the past this could be true, but now with encryption on websites, this is highly unlikely. Even if you have a Wi-Fi pineapple, which is pictured, which is a Wi-Fi access point specifically designed for hackers, you would have to be connected to that Wi-Fi access point and accept any number of warnings that your connection is not secure before this attack is likely. I have and use a Wi-Fi pineapple, and when it comes to sniffing packets, encryption makes it impossible to see anything useful. A Wi-Fi pineapple can redirect you to spoofed websites to trick you into entering your credentials, much the same as phishing emails attempt to do. A commercial VPN would protect you from this sort of attack. Have you ever seen the padlock on the address bar at the top of your browser? That means you are encrypted between your browser and the website you're connecting to. In the past, encryption was not used on many websites. Even Facebook didn't do encryption properly, which led to the Firesheep Wi-Fi attack, where attackers could steal your Facebook login. If you are not properly secured, modern browsers will throw all sorts of warnings at you. There are some exceptions to this. Corporate networks with corporate firewalls and infrastructure come to mind. In a coffee shop or small network, however, you will likely get all sorts of warnings if you are a victim of a man-in-the-middle attack or you are entering your logon credentials into an insecure website. So if we go back to the claim, cyber criminals can see the private info you send over Wi-Fi like your passwords and financial info, while technically true, practically, this is almost impossible to pull off these days without you knowing about it. Let's have a look at what you need to look out for. You see, YouTube is encrypted. If we go to YouTube, there are two things to note. The web address starts with HTTPS. The S indicates this is a secure connection. The second thing to look at is the padlock. Again, this means we have a secure connection. Secure connections are encrypted, meaning anyone sniffing your connection will not be able to see the contents of your packets. If we click on the padlock, and then on the message saying the connection is secure, we can see more information. This site has a valid certificate, issued by a trusted authority. This means information such as passwords or credit cards will be securely sent to this site and it cannot be intercepted. Always be sure you're on the intended site before entering any information. Certificates and trusted authorities are out of scope for this video, but trust me, what this message is saying is a good thing for you. Let's have a look at an unencrypted website now. This is a government website. Notice there are two things. One, the lack of HTTPS before the web address. This means the site is insecure. You'll also notice no padlock and the text instead of the padlock saying not secure. Not secure isn't a bad thing. It simply means anything you enter onto the website could be seen by others. If we click on not secure, we'll see the browser even tells us this. It reads, your connection to this site isn't secure. Don't enter any sensitive information on this site, for example, passwords or credit cards. It could be stolen by attackers. If someone is sniffing your connection, this is a true statement. When we click on this message, it continues. This site does not have a certificate. Because this connection is not secure, information, such as passwords or credit cards, will not be securely sent to the site and may be intercepted or seen by others. If our connection was being sniffed, an attacker would be able to see what we enter into the search box. And that'll be the same for usernames, passwords, credit card details, etc. Now we'll look at the final example. Now if we visit this site, this is an example of an error message you may see if a hacker is performing a man-in-the-middle attack. There may be many reasons for a message like this to appear. However, these are warning signs that something isn't right. We can see from this message that the connection isn't private and an attacker might be trying to steal your information. Modern browsers will stop you from going to these websites. To accept the message and continue to the website, click on Advanced and then on Continue to the website. This is what hackers want you to do. Don't do it. When you get this sort of message, you need to ask yourself, could someone be acting as a man in the middle? The important message here is, if you're being attacked, you will see a message like this appear. If you go to your bank website, for example, and you get a similar error, there could be a man-in-the-middle attack on your connection, and yes, your login information could be stolen. A VPN will help protect you from this, but it depends on where in the middle the hacker is. Let's have a look at the different man-in-the-middle scenarios. This is the man-in-the-middle scenario Norton describes in the advert. The green arrow represents encrypted connection. What will each point see? Your computer will visit mybank.com.au. The hacker will be able to see you are visiting the site. The Wi-Fi access point will be able to see you are accessing the bank website, and the ISP can see this too, with one important caveat. Whilst they can see you are going to the bank website, They cannot see the contents of the connection. This means your passwords and financial information are safe. In the demonstration, we saw an error message, which when we pressed the advanced button, we were allowed through to the website. If you get that message from any website, you could be under attack. Do not enter in any confidential information into that website. Just close the browser. In this scenario, the hacker is able to position him or herself between you and the bank website. The green arrow indicates the connection which you think is secure. The red arrows are the connection the hacker has created. Anything you send on that connection, the hacker will be able to see. The hacker redirects your connection to his or her computer where he or she decrypts the connection, but establishes his or her own connection to the bank. You'll get the error stating your connection is not secure, like we saw in the demonstration. If you connect through, the hacker will be able to see your username, password, and financial data. You think you are securely talking to the bank, but you're talking to the hacker, which is relaying your information to the bank. Once you finish your connection, the hacker has your login details and do whatever he/she wants. This makes a black hat hacker very happy. You don't need me to tell you this is bad. As long as you don't ignore error messages stating your connection is not secure, you will be safe from this scenario. This diagram is what the Norton advert was talking about. There is a hacker in a coffee shop sniffing packets or actively creating a man-in-the-middle scenario. Note that your VPN protects you from your computer through to the internet even if a hacker is in the middle. As we've just discussed, due to encryption on websites almost being ubiquitous these days, this is moot, unless you ignore the insecure connection warnings your browser throws at you if you are under attack. Let's look at a private VPN for connecting to your workplace. This is exactly the same scenario as the last slide. However, you are protected when you connect to your business VPN. Note that your VPN protects you from your computer through to your business even if a hacker is in the middle. So what should you look for in a commercial VPN? No logging. This means the VPN provider keeps no activity logs and no connection logs. This is important to ensuring your privacy as you are not tracked. The privacy policy needs to indicate they have your best interest in mind by not logging your connections or selling your information to third parties. It also needs to be fast. There are a number of VPN services which I have tried which are not fast. It's no good having an anonymous VPN service if you can't use it like you do your normal internet connection. It is also important that you can use your VPN on all of your computers and devices. Windows, Mac, Linux, iPhone, and Android clients are a must these days. They should also conduct independent audits of their application code and privacy policies. This ensures the claims the company makes can be substantiated by an independent third party. Do I use a commercial VPN? The answer is yes. We saw earlier my choice of VPN service is ExpressVPN. Why do I use a VPN? Mainly for anonymity and to prevent my ISP from seeing my browsing history. Whilst I'm not doing anything illegal, I'm not sure I want my ISP knowing I'm visiting a hacking website. I'm not sure what lists I might get on if this information was shared with authorities. Without context, it might be a little difficult to explain that. Are there websites that you visit you would prefer authorities, third parties, or advertising companies not know about? As an added side effect, I can view Netflix from a different country. Did you know Australian Netflix is different to America's? If you get on ExpressVPN and you connect to America, you'll find out how different it is. This is not an ad for ExpressVPN, but it is the one I trust fully, and many other IT and security professionals trust it too. Their privacy policy at www.expressvpn.com/privacypolicy specifically states, we do not collect logs of your activity, including no logging of browsing history, traffic destination, data content, or DNS queries. We also never store connection logs, meaning no logs of your IP address, your outgoing VPN IP address, connection timestamp, or session duration. If you're worried about being anonymous online, it is important that no logs are kept. The privacy policy goes on to say, we designed our systems to not have sensitive data about our customers. Even when compelled, we cannot provide data that we do not possess. This means that if law enforcement attempted to compel them to hand over VPN logs of your activity, they are unable to because logs of your connections do not exist. I moved away from a VPN provider because they were unable to provide this feature. They also have third parties audit their code and policies. As we discussed in the how-to video about password managers, third-party audits are important to ensure the claims of the company can be vouched for by an independent entity. ExpressVPN does this. In my opinion, this is as good as it gets. So what else can a commercial VPN do? It can change your IP address so it looks like you're in a different country. An IP address is how everything communicates on the internet. Websites have them and so do you. You can check yours at whatismyipaddress.com. Your address will likely change periodically, but a VPN can make it change instantly. I'll demonstrate now how this works. In this demonstration, we'll show how a VPN changes your IP address and how that affects how websites see you. I'm going to go back to ExpressVPN, but we won't connect just yet. We're going to go to whatisimyipaddress.com. And notice we have an IPv4 address, and we can see an approximate location on the right-hand side. If we scroll down, we can see that this is a Telstra internet connection and that we're in Sydney, New South Wales. Now we'll connect to ExpressVPN using the USA Los Angeles 2 connection. We will refresh the website What Is My IP Address and we'll see what changes occur. We can see that the IPv4 address changes. We can see now it looks like we're in the USA, and it's saying that we're in Los Angeles, California. This is how anything on the internet will then see you, because you're now channeling all your data through the VPN connection, which is located in Los Angeles, California. We'll now disconnect from ExpressVPN, and we'll refresh the website once again. Now that we're disconnected from California, we're now back in Sydney, which was our original location, so we're no longer protected by the VPN. That was a lot to take in. You may have to go back and rewatch this video over again to get your head around it. But for now, we'll exit the propeller hat zone. So let's go back to the original question. Do I need a VPN? The answer is, it depends on your needs. If you need remote access to your business or want anonymity online, yes. If you are scared of hackers seeing your passwords on a coffee shop Wi-Fi or on your home network, no. If you're confused or have more questions, drop me a line in the Facebook group and we can discuss it further. What did we learn? We now know there are two major types of VPN, private and commercial. We know hackers can steal your information using a man-in-the-middle attack. We understand that simply stealing credentials on the coffee shop Wi-Fi is FUD. We protect our servers and services by placing them behind a firewall. We can securely access protected servers by using a private VPN. We can evade web filtering and change our location on the internet by using a commercial VPN. We can become anonymous online by using the right commercial VPN. Thank you for joining me for a look at VPNs. I hope you can make the right decision when deciding if you need a VPN service. Don't forget, you can contact me via email, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Also, check out the podcast on Spotify, Deezer, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and where all good podcasts are found. Search and subscribe to Cybersecurity Business Connect and Protect Central Coast, the podcast. Until next time, stay safe online.
Oh yeah, this is the Cyber Informer. Hackers, you going down like, oh yeah, this is the Cyber Informer. Hackers, you going down, yeah.